Welcome to FLIT Academy. My name is Flies, and today we're gonna look into Breenbergh Hotel Hardpoint. Alright, let's jump right into it. It's important, as always, to know callouts and to understand which are the good spawns and bad spawns. Looking at Team Blue right here, we are having a good spawns because P2 is the lobby section of the hotel. Right? So this is P2 is a good set of spawns, and the red team are aiming at flipping the spawns at the beginning. Although you can get many points in P1 by hiding in default, one guy pushing here, one guy going top couches, one guy pushing white underneath bedroom. Right? This is white corridor. So this is a good setup if you spawn in the wrong side of things. You go in there, this guy peeks long into satellite. If somebody comes in and tries to push through banana, we call this banana actually. We call this banana. Some people call it brick. There's different callouts out there, so don't come at me because of that. Alright, so this guy stops the rotation from the right side from the blue team, who try to stop the guy of getting points inside, who is probably just gonna be here. Or maybe he can even push aggressively and lie down in this default spot. So there's two default spots looking into statue, right? Now, it's important that the setup from red team holds at least, let's say, 20 points if they're aiming to holding the 20 points, or they're gonna go through P4 and break through P4 and try to get spawns by going into spa. Once you get into spa, you can easily manage to claim your spawn. Now, if that doesn't work and you decide to, you know what, they're set up in P4, they're set up behind reception, we have to change tactics here because number one player of red team pushed through and died. So he got this info, they're set up. So what you're gonna do about that? You can push through satellite. There's a beautiful jump from Shotzi that you can jump on the satellite or chandelier and jump across without dying, right? And you can push into deep spawn. Once you're here, you are a pain in the freaking ass, alright? So, if many people manage to set up from this side and you guys push through from back, they pretty much lose control and one guy can pinch from the other side. So this is a great way to rotate into P2. Now, what is the setup for P1 for the blue team? If they get the first kills, right? So let's look at this. One guy's always peeking here. This guy wants to fight. This bricks. From here he can push in. Got one guy playing sofa. And this guy is always playing P4. Okay. So this is an ideal setup for P1 in the blue team because they will be spawning this side. Player 3 needs to listening to the callouts and understand to slay either to jump in or player 1 jumps in here and keep cutting them through restaurant here. That you can stair glitch on this, you can stair glitch on any stairs honestly, and or you can go up here in case they spawn plat and hold the cross of catwalk, and this can be heard by player 2. So communication is key for P1. It's pretty dynamic. It's not a money hill at all, but you can fight off. You can get decent points out of it if the slayers can keep them in their spawns. So let's look at setup of P2. This head glitch is godlike. Stairs are insanely hard. Play easily. Head glitch the stairs, and you're good. This is a great setup. People could disagree with me because they're like, oh, satellite is so important to hold whatsoever. Let's say this is like initial setup. You wait for them to come. If player 4 knows, like he gets so much info by just pushing out and seeing if they're coming from sofas or master bedroom or white or even long. If he gets the info, he can just push back. He can hold the cross into reception if player 2 is reloading and just peek when they're weak and get easy frags into statue. This is really easy, really easy. So this is P2 setup. Once you get the kills, player 3 starts pushing out. He can push out into boutique, where you can see get info from double arches, from a restaurant, these two players are locking this down. If you manage to get this early, like, and you're 30 seconds in, you start rotating, two players start rotating through restaurant into freezer and try to double peek the people who have already set up play P3. Alright, before I do this, let me show you in the meanwhile, if the red team gave up the setup for P2, if they gave it up, alright, they're gonna go and set up probably 4-stack kitchen as well, because kitchen is insanely hard to beat if you have 4 people inside, because of the trade-offs, because you're pushing in blind mostly. So this is a great setup for P3, right? So there's like a vine here where you can jump up and look at pretty much everything. So going back, so P3, we have player 4 looking at the freezer side of things. He can hide here. It's pretty dynamic. He can listen to the steps, wait for the people to double push him. He can lie down here. That's why normally there's two players going in there trying to frag out player 4, right? If players 3 dies, the 4 tries to get him ASAP and get this refrag. That's why it's such an important double peek. If you manage to get it, it's pretty dynamic inside here as well, because you can lie down and watch this entrance, and by snaking you are insanely good by getting info. And the players 3 can support by jumping here as well and looking through the doors, but his main job is to hold off and get info from midsection and plat, because some teams rotate through plat as well by trying to pinch, right? If they rotate through plat, player 3 will see him way before he's like player 3 sees him. Normally, because people can push through mid, get the info that he's deep spawn, and plat player pushes him and just lasers him out of the spawn. That's why it's important to get info, not stay there too long. There's many spots he can play back here and be just a pain in the ass without letting the blue team push from single door or doubles. And that's the most important thing, which means 3 players just have to look at, 2 can literally look at 1 entrance. So that's pretty much the setup for P3. P4 is godlike if you have someone reception. Reception is so important. Go. Player 1 here. I do love having someone in master bedroom who cuts them from the back in case they push it from here. And master bedroom, if player 1 calls them, they spawned in spa, can support the spa player, let the guy playing in 1 as well, just by player 1 being passive and player 3 just looking across, and you've got reception as well. And why not have 2 players in sight? Now, this player is the dynamic player, because where they spawn, he can push through. Play aggressive. Don't be passive. This player doesn't have to be passive, right? He can play here the head glitch. He can push out here and go for a back rotation in case player 3 dies and they're pushing off from plat side. If everybody pushes from plat, he can cut them from here by being a statue. So he needs to understand and listen to the calls. And importantly, if player 1 dies, he's there getting points. So that's P4. Let's look at P5. P5 is actually a really dynamic hardpoint, because there's many times split spawns. It can easily happen, and the spawns switch really fast. So there is no real setup apart from having the players in the middle and communicating the best they can, right? And if people spawn in satellite, people spawn in mid. So if they spawn in mid, if they spawn in satellite, player 3 in carpet, there's like 3 stairs right here. He can head glitch that, and just by being unbeatable, he covers an important entrance, which means these 2 people can look into boutique. This guy can over peek, and let's say they spawn in kitchen side of things. This player needs to jump on this side, or maybe even if he know, like, what happens. Let me say it this way. Normally, if you kill them all spawning in satellite or chandelier or boutique side of things, they spawn mid, and most definitely we have one really dynamic player who pushes through, tries to cut them early, because when they spawn here they keep running, and if they're running they're dead. Simple as that. You cut them, and so you invade the spawn, making them flip and spawning in mid or in kitchen, making them come from backside, which means the player already knows once you get the 3-piece or 4-piece, they're all coming from the other side of directions, and you have to actively listen and look at the minimap what's going on. So it's a really dynamic play in the end. Snaking is crucial in this spot to get infos. Listen to the steps. Have players listen in the corners when they're camping, waiting for the players to do their thing. Now P6 is a wide hard point to set up, in the sense of we can have a player here in kitchen side of things, but this is a spot which is insanely strong. People never expect you to be there if you're playing inside. We have one player inside master bedroom playing dynamically. This doesn't mean that he has to stay there. It's important to which section of the map is his or hers. Now there is this player 4 can play underneath. There is like a van where you can head glitch and look mid. Insanely strong. So this could be a good setup. Because we have 2 ARs, locking it down, ladies and gents. Right, this player dynamic can run through here and look at the long side of things, because mainly people will spawn P4 and push from this side. Mainly, right? They will rotate and they will come from here, which is really important for player 1 to spot in master bedroom. Hopefully he doesn't that he has to play slow. You can't be running it and making them hear your steps right here. He can watch the carpet side by if they spawn in kitchen, which can happen. This is why as well it's cool if some players go in over kitchen and play here, so they block the spawn on this side and they still cover the mid section, and this player needs to play aggressive on this side. And you can lock it down by cutting it very high so that players can push through, and if you cut it very high, it's easy points. And the default spot is of course this angle right here in plat, and they will normally come out pre-firing you. This is another default spot right here, but player 3 is, people don't expect that, and you will manage to get the first kill in case you are left alone and you're trying to get the points. So this has been all the rotations in the sense of setups. I'm not going to be talking in too much in depth. It's important that people understand how to set up the hard points, and we'll see you next time with another map. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, and get better.